Howdy, y'all. Been brainstorming a lot of topics that could potentially make good videos. Don't know where it came from, but I just thought, what about Pokemon? I think now would be as good time as any, considering it's still airing? Holy shit! And I felt I never took time to discuss it in my older videos. Sure, I mentioned it a few times, calling it a repetitive series that I grew out of, but that doesn't tell the whole story. As a child of the late 90s and early 2000s, Pokemon was bound to be sewn into my DNA towards the end of the decade. When it debuted in early 1999 on Kids WB, everything changed. You guys know how minions are everywhere nowadays? Well, after February 1999, Pokemon made the Minions phenomenon look like the local band selling out the 1,000-seat arena. Every kid I knew was into Pokemon, even if the adults didn't get it.
Now, my good man, what do you like to play?
Pokemon!
Pokemon? Pokemon with the Pokey and the man in the thing where the guy comes out into the thing and he makes the fall.
Everything changed after that little electric rat invaded our culture. Maybe even played a hand in the downfall of Saturday morning television. Thanks, Pikachu! Every Saturday morning and even afternoons after school became my time to catch episodes of Pokemon to see which of the fighting little creatures would be featured in the episodes next. I got wrapped up in the hype. You could say there was a time Pokemon was my biggest obsession. It was like my generation's Ninja Turtles. I got all the merch. Poke toys, Poke posters, Poke books, Poke board games.
Pokemon walkie-talkies? Yeah!
Hell, I even had Pokemon bed sheets for the longest time. All because of a little Saturday morning cartoon that came into my life. But I'm no silly. I know that the franchise started out as a game on the Game Boy, created by Satoshi Tajiri, which were sleeper hits over here in the US, and sparked interest in North America distribution of the franchise. Of course, I thought the TV series came first, and then the games, but I grew to learn better, don't worry. Little did I know at the time the series started in Japan and made its way over here with Americanized names and humor. It was just another cartoon for me. I was none the wiser. All I knew is it was my new obsession, and I was gonna beg my mom to consume the heck out of it. I couldn't tell you exactly what pulled me into the franchise. My love of animals, my love of monsters, maybe even peer pressure from kids I knew. Whatever the reason, the Pokebug had bit me. Anything with Pokemon on it, I wanted. Even got myself into the games on my old Game Boy Color. I had never played an RPG before, and trying to play those things without being able to read, well, that caused some issues, but that's okay. I remember being more into the Pokemon games on Nintendo 64. Pokemon Snap was a fun rental from time to time. Pokemon Stadium I played the hell out of, especially the minigames. And Hey You Pikachu. Man, that game made me so enraged. I could never get Pikachu to do what I say. I remember I got so mad I kicked my talking Pikachu plush and felt bad afterwards, cried and hugged it. I didn't mean to hurt you, yellow rat. Your game made me do it. But it's worth noting that the first time I played Super Smash Bros., who was the first fighter I ever picked to play in the whole franchise? Fox, of course. Nah, it was Pikachu. Of course it was him. Oh, and the trading cards. Holy moly, the trading cards. I remember everyone and their grandma was trying to collect these. You know, remember when Beanie Babies were being snatched up like they were worth millions? I honestly think people were trying to do the same thing with Pokemon cards. Those sold out constantly, and everyone I knew had them growing up. Kids would bring them to school or summer camp in binders. I remember one kid turning through the pages and showing off all his cards to the amazement of kids gathering around him. It was insanity. And if memory serves me right, I think I did see one kid with the very sought-after Charizard card. And that was the only time I ever recall seeing one of them in real life. Little did I know how legendary they are. Considering the anime was the main aspect of my obsession with this franchise, I'll spend time talking about that. First of all, what sane parent lets their preteen kids go off on their own in a great big world full of monsters and terrorist groups? Not to mention, do you have any idea how many artists are going to make art of these characters in the future? I mentioned earlier the names were Americanized, which is how Satoshi became Ash Ketchum, Kazumi became Misty, and Takeshi became Brock. We can't have kids learning these are foreigners. That'll teach them tolerance, and that's commie shit. Joke's on you. I learned Japanese names from Godzilla movies, so ha. But the names weren't the only ones that got the Western castration treatment. I remember I was so mad when I saw what a jelly donut looked like in real life, and it looked nothing like the ones in Pokemon. Because they were rice balls, but how was I to know? I was a dumb Midwestern kid at the mercy of what the TV told me. And once VHS tapes of Pokemon started rolling out, they made great birthday gifts and stocking stuffers. I distinctly remember how I got my first one. I was at my birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, opening my presents, and there it was, Poke Friends. I would ask my mom for more ever since, ultimately owning 5, but I would watch the rest by renting them from video stores. This was back when I would just put tapes in and watch them from start to finish, and they include promos for other series Viz Media owned. Oh wow, this looks just like Pokemon. I should check this out. I don't think I'm old enough to watch this one yet. And of course, Pokemon knew how to tug at the heartstrings. In the episode Pikachu's Goodbye, Pikachu finds a colony of his kind, and it looks as though Pikachu is going to leave Ash by the end of the episode. And let me tell you, they played dirty, showing a montage of all the times Pikachu and Ash spent together, while a sad Michael Bolton-like song plays over it. I think it was the first time as a kid an emotional moment really sunk in and made me feel so heartbroken. No, Pikachu, don't go! You still have 1,200 adventures to go on! Yeah, holy crap. It amazes me to know Pokemon as an animated series is still going. It never really left. Just like the other cartoon that premiered in the US in 1999. It just won't die. And I think that's pretty cool, actually. We take for granted how most phenomena really die out and don't really stick. Remember Backstreet Boys? Of course you do, but back then the boy band craze engulfed everyone, even me, before just fading away from existence. And we're just now seeing nostalgia for that. That isn't the case with Pokemon. It never really went away long enough for us to feel nostalgic for it. It was always there. Sure, I stopped watching the series and playing the games after Ruby and Sapphire came out. I just found myself into other things, and Pokemon I felt had stayed its welcome. But of course, I never truly forgot about it. I spent so much time on it during my formative years that it has a permanent burn mark in my brain. While the series doesn't have as much rewatch value now, I still think back on it for comfort. It really does remind me of a time when things were simpler and the world was full of imagination and wonder. Pokemon has mastered the art of selling people the exact same products with a new coat of paints. The games might all feel the same, the series might feel a little repetitive, but doggone, something about it just keeps people coming back. And for that, I gotta tip my hat to it. Those are some of my memories of growing up with Pokemon. What are yours? Still into the franchise now? Relive Pokemania all over again in the comments. Until next time, y'all take care.